Good morning. I would thank you for the opportunity to share with you our experience of CCPM and concerto implementation. We have started this process in October 2008. It means today we are 3 years implemented. And in this time we have had very good results, but we also have faced some difficulties. And I would like to share with you not only the good results, but also the difficulties that we have had. Because I have seen many of you that are just learning or just starting the implementation. And I think to share different parts of the process is also interesting. Basically, Embraco, it's a compressor manufacturer that is applied in refrigerators. And we call that compressor is like the heart of the refrigerator. You have your foods that we have to remove the cool of the foods. And this heat that we remove from the foods had to be delivered, and it's delivered at the outside of the refrigerator or backside of your refrigerator. Compressor is the part that make the pumps, the refrigerant that removes the heat of the foods. But it's not only a pump, it's also compress the refrigerant to move from a low temperature to a high temperature. This is the role of the compressor. Embraco is a company that has 11,000 employees in 4 or 5 different regions. Today we produce 34 million compressors a year. 34 million compressors a year means more than a compressor per second. And 120,000 compressors a day. We have factories in Brazil, China, Slovakia, India, and most recently in Mexico. Today, our R&D team is composed for more or less 530 people. Today, we are with 470 here, but the total is 530 people. And we are one of the 5 or 10 companies in Brazil with most patent applied. Here in the US, we are one of the most Brazilian companies that have most patents applied. Our products, we produce compressors for all of the main appliances through the world, in Europe, Brazil, United States, Japan, China. And we also have products to the light commercial, like vending machines, ice cream, ice makers, and things like that. Most recently, we are starting new business opportunities. We are studying some very different things, like you are seeing a cloth that we are trying to do, a vested cloth, cooled vested cloth. In fact, we don't develop the cloth, but the mechanism that make the cool. Today we are testing that in a stock car in Brazil. That's a race car. Today it's been tested. I don't know the result yet, but we are trying to do this kind of different things besides our traditional business that are compressors for household and commercial. What are the main requirements that these customers ask for us? Cooling capacity, obviously, is the first one. But compressor is responsible for more or less 75% of the energy that's consumed in a refrigerator. And you have refrigerators, and we have in almost all of the houses. It means the energy consumption of the refrigerator is very important through the world. Noise is also important. You as a customer know that. And reliability. As I mentioned to you, we produce 120,000 compressors a day. We don't have so much room to make mistakes. No more than a few days will kill the company. This is also a big challenge. Considering that, talking now about engineering, I will talk 2 slides about our R&D. One is about process, another one is about people. Some years ago, before the concerto implementation, we decided to divide the projects in small medium, large, and technology projects. Is that because the requirements are very different? If the customer is doing a very small change and is requiring a small that requires 1 day, 3 days change, it cannot enter in the same line that a compressor that requires 2 months or 2 years. This was the reason because we decided to move our project with different kind of projects and different kind of process. Each kind of process that you can see that. A more complex project requires a more complex process, obviously. Today we are running approximately 800 projects that we call small projects that takes maximum 1 week. And these projects we don't follow the concerto or critical chain. This we just follow the first in, first out. But the others, medium projects and large projects, we are applying the CCPM. And here we are running approximately 300 compressors, 300 projects in medium projects per year, and large projects 10 to 15, and you will see that this is one of the big problems that we have today. It's regarding to these 10 to 15 projects. Regarding to the resources, we are organized by cells of experts. Then we have a cell for acoustics, a cell for thermodynamics, a cell for materials. This kind of the resources of the people are located in cells. And we are also organized by projects. The project leader required activities. The cell leader defined the people to work in these cells. And then this is the process that we have. I would say that we are much more oriented by project than by matrix or even a functional situation. The projects at our company are stronger than the other parts of the company. And I'm talking obviously about R&D. Why to implement critical chain? We have the same, I will pass that, but because just to say that Embraco today is leader in the market through the world in terms of compressors for refrigerators. 1 in each 5 refrigerators in the world applies an Embraco compressor. And we understand that technology is one of our strategic pillars to be the leader in this segment. This is the reason because we are investing in this kind of process. And we have the same problems that majority of the companies has. More projects than resources, a requirement for reduce the lead time, due date in delay, bottlenecks that we don't know exactly where are these bottlenecks, and knowledge, how to transfer knowledge through the people, since we are more oriented by projects than by a functional or matrix process. The guy does the project, learn about that, how to transfer to the other experts of that cell, how to that knowledge that he learns. These were the problems that led us to move in direction of the implementation of Concerto. We started at the beginning of 2008, and the implementation, as I mentioned, was done by October 2008. Since then, we have got very good results in 2009, 2010. 2011 has been a very difficult year to us. But even on that, we are implementing, extending the implementation of that to the regions like China, Slovakia, and Italy. These processes are under development. We didn't finish the business case. Are already implemented. We didn't finish the implementation. What I would say is where we are having very good reception in China, Italy. In Slovakia, we are facing some difficulties because some years ago, we tried to implement this process in Slovakia. We were not successful. And now we are going back and trying to convince the people again that we should do that. It's not easy, but we are working on that also. We applied the same rules, all of the rules that we have discussed during the year. At the beginning, we not stopped the projects, but we during 2008, we're replanning all of the projects, we allocate resources, and we make priorities, and we start to run the process as all of the rules, following the rules. And about the results that we achieved on that, very good results. First of all, talking about large projects, as I mentioned to you, we were running at a rate of 5 projects in 2005, 2006, 2007. In 2008, excuse me. In 2009, we finished 7 projects and 10 projects in 2010. In terms of medium projects that are smaller in terms of timing, we got also good results, and these are more controlled. When we talk about lead time, we have seen some improvement, but not a big improvement. We didn't got big improvement on lead time. In general, we run at an average of 19, 20 months, but we use it to run also in 16, 17. And today we are running at 16, 17 months on a large project in average. Okay, the results were very good. What happened, what was the problem in 2011? Very good results in 2010. And when we start 2011, I will show you just an example what is happening today. This is the number, what you can see is, this is just one portfolio. It's not all of our portfolio. Example. The number of projects increased. And the number of projects in red or in delay also increased significantly. And then we start to a negative spiral. When we consume the buffer, we don't have resources to make additional resources to improve the project. We have delay again. We solve one project. We start to have problem in another project. And this has been our current problem, a big problem, I would say, because we're still delivering projects, but we are delivering in delay. What we learned, okay, I would say in this moment, at least in the mid, just to give you some numbers, in 2009, we were running in an average of 12 projects. 15 was the peak in 2009. In 2010, our average was 17 projects. But in some moment of 2010, we achieved a peak of 28 projects simultaneously. And we started with 12 projects. It means the inclination of the number of projects was growing during the year. We finished the year with 26 projects running simultaneously. First semester of 2011, we start to see the consequence of that. We're still running with 23 projects in average, and then in May, more or less, was a perfect storm. Good time to start to discuss this process doesn't run. We have to change the process. We have to look for additional or other opportunities. But my decision was, I went to Goldratt Associates that help us in the implementation and asked help to them. Guys, we are with problem and we need your help again. They help us on that with a consultant that go back to our company. And our conclusion was, first of all, we were running in 2009 in a rate that was smaller than the optimum point. But in 2010 and 2011, we moved to a rate that is, we passed the limit. We passed off our optimal point. Consequence of that, degradation of plans. We make the plan, we don't attend the plan, we consume the buffer, we go back to the plan, but we don't solve the problem. And then it starts to have conflicts. The project leader requires for more resources, the leader don't have these resources, and start to have the conflicts. It means a degradation of the 3 roles. What we learned about that and what was our proposition about that? We have to improve our ability to make the priorities, and we have to reduce the number of projects. Just to give you an idea, in this second semester, we will run in an average of 20 projects, reducing the average of 23 to 20. And by the end of the year, we will with 16 projects. Our analysis makes us to conclude that our optimal point is 17 projects. But 17 projects simultaneously with some additional constraint. We have to have no more than 8 projects in the conceptualization and conversion phase or development phase, because we have simultaneous resources for that, and this is our main bottleneck. If we do that, to run these 17 projects with no more than 8 projects in the conceptualization and conversion, our expectation is to deliver 12 projects per year, considering the time that we have for these 2 phases that are the restrictions. Additional to that, we improve again our project plans. We are improving again. When we started the concerto, we start making the templates, and for some reason during the time we lose this ability to improve the templates. Now we are going back to templates again. And we are also discussing the capacities, because we have some cells that still being a bottleneck for us. These are the 3 main activities that we are doing. And just going to the working process management, what we will do is, basically was the previous process. We use it to say that we have a process of prioritization, but we don't prioritize anything, every project that comes enter. And then we start making plans, staggering, and starting to see the buffer management and so on. We did everything of that. But even doing that, since the number of projects was higher than our capacity, was not able to continue on that. What we are doing today, here's this picture that I told to you, this bottom part of the picture, virtual drum. This is the real history of our situation. First part was 2009, 12 projects. Then we start in beginning 2010, increasing the number of projects. End of 2010, first semester of 2011, some moments more than 25 projects in parallel. And now we start, and second semester 2010, we start to reduce again the number of projects to go to an average that we expect to be, we are planning to run at 17 projects by the end of next year. By the next year, not by the end of next year. And this in yellow color is the restriction that we have for the conceptualization and conversion phase. This is the restriction. You could see that some moment during the 2010 and 2011, we were running with more projects than the restriction. Then we will go back to the staggering the projects, that is natural, and try to bring the process again to the situation. What I would say to you is, besides this analysis in terms of more technical analysis, we did 2 additional initiatives. One is we did some organizational changes. I announced 1 week ago these changes. And the reason was not kill the guys that were running that, but some guys were overloaded. Some portfolio managers were overloaded. And I was not able to ask more to them. I asked, but they were also overloaded. And then we did some changes on that way. The second point that we did was to increase or to develop a leadership program to the project engineers, project leaders and cell leaders. Because we have to motivate the guys again to believe on that because now everybody starts, now I'm saying that was in the middle of the year, everybody starts to questioning the process and so on. We developed this process of leadership, and we start motivating the guys again to continue the process. Another challenge that we have this year and to beginning next year is to finish the implementation in the other regions. We are seeing good results, good preliminary results, as I mentioned, in China and Italy. But I would finalize saying to you that the middle of 2009 was 2011 was a mess in terms of problems, do not delivering projects, a pressure from the market, and so on. The diagnosis was very important. And I would say you that if you, I don't hope that you stay in this situation in some moment, but if you go to this situation, or if you feel some difficulties, don't hesitate and ask help to your consultants, Goldratt or realization team. Don't hesitate on asking your help. It's very important. Moreover, you have to adjust some schedule, but we did do, and we were successful getting their help on that. Obviously, all of the information that we had was very important to help us to understand and to design the next steps. I mentioned to you that we revised the process of work in progress projects, but as I mentioned also, we are also discussing and improving our bottlenecks in terms of cells, because we have some specialist cells that they are restrictions. If I have 10 acoustic engineers, I have 10 acoustic engineers. We are trying to flexibilize some capacity with multifunctional knowledge to improve that. Finally, I will thank you, Goldratt Associates in Brazil, for the helping. Fabiano Almeida, that's here, thank you very much for your helping and continuous helping in 2010. Thank you very much.